Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and I'll apologize for starting late, but we had another meeting that kind of overlapped this one, but we're all here now. So I'd like to call on Student Trustee Rivington to present the acknowledgement of traditional lands and water.
We acknowledge that we are on land and surrounded by water originally inhabited by Indigenous peoples who have traveled this area since time immemorial. This territory is within the lands honored by the Wampum Treaties, agreements between the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lenni Lenape, and allied nations to peacefully share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Specifically, we would like to acknowledge the presence of the Huron-Wendat peoples and the Three Fires Confederacy, Ojibwe, Odawa, Potawatomi. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture while remaining committed to moving forward respectfully with all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis.
Thank you very much. We have a special addition to tonight's meeting. We are welcoming 2 new trustees, and we would like them to ceremonially, is that a word? No? Okay. All right. To read their declarations for office, and you could read them simultaneously. You don't have to do one by one. They've been officially sworn in, so this is for the ceremony for our meeting tonight. Yep.
I, Cheryl Lovell,
I, Chandrika Abhang, declare that
I am not disqualified under any act from being a member of the Greater Essex County District School Board.
I'm not disqualified under any act from being a member of Greater Essex County District School Board.
I will truly, faithfully, impartially, and to the best of my ability execute the office of board member, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or malversation or other undue execution of the said office, and that I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, as required by and in accordance with Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I have a reading disability, folks, so thank you for being patient. But I solemnly swear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Everyone is here for attendance, and there are no special orders of the day. For the approval of the agenda, I would like to add N2 under new business if it gets approved. We had orientation with the new trustees this afternoon, and we looked at the vacancies left by the former trustees. So we talked through that, and I'm presenting a recommendation on filling the vacancies from former trustees Leclerc and Armstrong. So I'd like to add that as N2. Trustee McKinley, your point?
Yeah, these positions that you've put people on by appointment have traditionally, since I've been a trustee, been by election by our colleagues together. So I believe it should be on the agenda under new business that we then elect who will fill those spots and not just be appointed.
Okay, we reviewed the meetings from our organizational meeting, and we had agreed to leave these spots vacant wherever there was the name Leclerc and Armstrong. So if I get 2/3 to put it under N2, and then trustees can deal with it then.
My understanding was when you said we would come back to it, it would be back on an agenda after we had the trustees in place, that it would be on our agenda for voting, as we always have.
Okay, thank you for your point of view. I don't know that was a point of order, but anyway, I'm asking for a motion to put this on as N2. Do I have a seconder? Trustee McCowie? Trustee Cook? Mover and seconder? All those in support? How many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4. To add N2. You have it in front of you. Committee recommendation. Filling the spots from Trustee Leclerc, former Trustee Leclerc and Armstrong. How many do I need? Okay, we're voting to add to the agenda the report to fill those spots from Trustees Armstrong and Leclerc according to what we talked about at the organizational meeting. So that would come as new business N2. So all those in support of adding the item to the agenda.
To that? Oh, it's on the floor. I thought there was a vote happening, so I wanted to speak.
Someone asked that it be read again, so I did. Okay. So all those in support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many do I need?
I'm not putting.
Where am I? 6.
So
do I need?
For clarification, I'm sorry, but it's to put the
7?
report
As an N2.
as N2, but that would not allow us to elect those positions.
Correct.
That was the
is that my
decision of the
understanding?
trustees at the organizational meeting.
No, I don't believe that was a decision of
Okay.
the trustees then. I believe it was to
Right.
postpone,
Okay.
defer having the election of those
Okay.
positions.
We have a difference of opinion, so we have the motion, Trustee McCowie, Trustee Cook, that we add this as N2 to fill the spots from the former trustees. So that would come as item N2. You can choose what you want when we get to that, but we have to see if it gets approved for the agenda. Trustee Cook?
I was just going to say, we just voted, and there was 2 people over there, 2 trustees that voted. There was 8 of us that passed it. So
That's 2/3 of my vote.
that's 2/3.
So just let me clarify that we have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's carried. Thank you. Do we have any declarations of conflict of interest for this meeting? Seeing none. Then we're going to move to the student trustee report.
Good evening, trustees, Director Houston, administration, and members of the public. December has been quite a month for me and Ruby. We started our month by visiting elementary schools across the city and the county. We took the time to discuss the role of student trustee and offered tips and tricks about high school. I found that the students gained a lot of value in hearing about the high school from our perspective, from a student perspective. And they asked a lot of questions about how sports teams work and how to join student council, about a variety of topics. And it helped us really connect with them and see how they're seeing high school from a grade 8 perspective, right? And then we had our student senate meeting. It was a very productive meeting. It was at North Star this month. We gave a professional development workshop on resume building. We found that the student senators really took to it. They were really engaged the whole time. They eventually kind of broke into discussion about interviews as well. So I really enjoyed learning about how they were feeling about like jobs as a general, as we see, right? People are struggling to find jobs sometimes, especially for youth. So I was glad to see that they were helping each other out to build those resumes, things like that. We are very grateful for the effort that STEM has shown us so far in our term, and we have big things planned for 2026. The month really feel like it flew by. It came and went just like that. And we're very grateful to Director Houston and Michelle Marcus for their guidance throughout our term up to this point. We'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday and a happy new year. Thanks all.
Thank you. And now, student of the month.
The student of the month for December is Ali Malash, a grade 10 student at Essex District High School, and an outstanding role model for this month's theme of reliability. Allie is a talented, dedicated, and proud Essex Raider. Whether as a student council representative, a fellow classmate, or as a teammate, Allie's dependability shines through in all she does. She's been a member of Essex Student Council for the past 2 years and is known for contributing to school events and lively participation on Spirit Days. Allie is a gifted graphic artist who runs the Raiders social media committee and also creates posters and school spirit wear. She designed the Essex homecoming merchandise, proposing 8 designs in less than a week. Allie has also created the winning Student Senate wear design this year. In class, Allie is the go-to person for help with homework and projects. She enthusiastically participates in class discussions and activities. Teachers rely on her to help them out with jobs outside the classroom as well. Throughout her years at Essex, Allie has been a committed member of the volleyball and track and field teams. She's a trustworthy teammate, encouraging and supportive of her fellow athletes, and always doing her best at practices, games, and meets. Allie's reliability is an inspiration to many, and Essex benefits greatly from her steadfast dependability. Congratulations, Allie, on being selected as the December Student of the Month for reliability.
Thank you. Allie's not here. Will you be able to make sure that Allie gets the, yeah, thank you. Thank you. And congratulations to Allie on behalf of all the trustees. And next on the agenda, I need a motion to convene into special committee of the whole closed session. We have 2 legal matters, 2 property items, and a negotiations report. Moved by Trustee McCauley, seconded by Trustee Buckler. All those in support? That's carried. Thank you. We will be in committee of the whole for perhaps an hour. Thank you. Okay, we're back. I'll call the meeting back to order. And we're at item I, Rise and Report from the Special Committee of the Whole closed session. And I'm going to turn this to Trustee Nelson.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move H1 and H2, matters of the acquisition or disposal of a school site.
Trustee McCowie, second. Okay. All those in support? Yep. That's carried. Any opposed? No, that's carried. Thank you. Approval of the minutes from the meeting of December 18th. There are two sets of minutes. One is the organizational meeting. The other is a regular board meeting. Do I have someone to move this? Trustee Nelson and Trustee Buckler. Anything on the minutes? All those in support? Any opposed on the minutes? Okay. All those in support, J1 and J2. Any opposed? No, that's carried. Thank you. Chair's report. I have a little bit to say. I don't have a formal report actually for this meeting, but I do want to take this opportunity to provide what I'm calling a year-end message as we move towards the close of 2025. At the same time, I recognize that this is also the beginning of our final year for this term as elected trustees. So we've got a beginning and we've got an end coming up. I want trustees to know that I am very grateful for the support at our annual organizational meeting for me to continue as chairperson. I would also like to acknowledge the work of Trustee Buckler this past year serving the board as vice chair. She is very passionate about what we do as trustees and is very mindful about supporting students and staff. Moving forward, I know Trustee Nelson, in her role now as vice chair, will be supportive with our ongoing work and commitment to ensure good governance for the success and well-being of all students and staff of our board. As I noted in my statement at the organizational meeting, serving as chairperson over the past 3 years has not always been easy. At times, the role has been demanding and difficult, and made more so by the uncertainty of the circumstances surrounding public education right now, not caused by us. I'll leave that person unnamed that's in Toronto at Queen's Park. I want to stress my belief that all trustees care deeply about our students and are genuinely committed to making their learning experiences positive and successful. The same can be said of our Director of Education and her staff. Their solid commitment and successes over this past year will be highlighted in the Director's annual report. And on behalf of the trustees, before you even give your report, I know that it's a job well done, and you have the sincere gratitude for making us proud to serve the GECDSB. As we move forward in 2026, I will continue to help to provide a clear understanding of our duties and responsibilities. Our shared goal as a school board is to uphold and implement our mission, values, and strategic priorities with pride and always in the best interests of students. I will continue to provide prudent and thoughtful guidance to the trustees, supporting informed decision-making and drawing upon my experience to lead in a way that respects the perspectives and opinions of us all. We may not always agree on the path forward, but if our collective aim is to do what is best for our board and the students that we serve, then I'm confident that we will continue to achieve success. As we conclude 2025 and enter the second half of the 2025-2026 school year, we are joined by 2 new trustees to our board. I'm very pleased to welcome Trustee Abong and Trustee Lovell, and look forward to the wisdom and experience that they will bring to our team. The winter break is coming up soon. I can't believe it starts on Friday. And I extend my best wishes for a happy and safe holiday season. As always, and I know some of you have heard me say this many times, but my wish for the new year is for world peace. And it just seems to be more remote each day, especially the past several days where we've seen extreme violence in the world. But I may not see world peace in my lifetime. Sorry. But I do look forward to the future with positivity for our small part of the world, where we know that our students and staff are welcomed in a safe and caring environment. I wish the whole world could feel that way. I remain GECDSB proud, with a deep and unwavering commitment to public education. Thank you. Your turn. Sorry about that.
Good evening, everyone. So we've arrived at the final board meeting of 2025, and I'm pleased to present the third edition of Inside Education. And this edition highlights many exciting developments from the past month, as well as the work and initiatives that we look forward to in 2026. As always, I share this report with sincere gratitude and appreciation for the staff, the students of the Greater Essex County District School Board, whose dedication and efforts make all of this possible. So you have in your board package a copy of the Director's Annual Report, and I'm pleased to share that with you. It includes several things over the past year and reflects the significant amount of work that was undertaken throughout the school year, much of which occurs behind the scenes and in the classrooms across the system, directly supporting the success and the well-being of our students and our staff throughout the Greater Essex County District School Board. I'm immensely proud of the work and appreciate the opportunity to share it with you this evening. And so it is available on the website, and you also have a copy of it there. When I finish the other report, because we're doing a combined of both, I'm happy to take questions on that, or happy to take questions on the month of November Inside Education report. So I'd like to extend, and I hope she doesn't get upset, my heartfelt congratulations to Trustee Nelson. She's been named one of the 100 accomplished Black Canadian women honorees for 2026. Christy is a passionate advocate in our community, dedicated to making a positive impact as the co-founder of Family Fuse, and through her many other contributions, including her role as a trustee with the Greater Essex County District School Board. Each year, the honorees are recognized through the publication of their stories in the book, 100 Accomplished Black Canadian Women. Again, please join me in recognizing and congratulating Christy on a well-deserved recognition. You make us GECDSB proud. Travel for Credit is a partnership between the Greater Essex County District School Board and EF Educational Tours Canada. Last year, students traveled to the United Kingdom, where they explored various locations in Edinburgh, Glasgow, London, and more, earning a grade 12 English credit. This year, students have the opportunity to sign up for the United Kingdom trip, or they may consider earning a French credit in France. I think I'd vote for the France one if I still needed high school credits. And all the information for that can be found at visit our public board website for travel credit to learn more. And there will be information sessions held for both parents and students who may be interested in participating. A co-op event with the Windsor Express basketball team. In partnership with them, the school board is hosting a special daytime game and career experience designed for grade 10 students starting on January the 7th, 2026. And the event will introduce students to future co-op employers, specialist high skills major and Ontario Youth Apprenticeship programs, and inspiring career pathways. And grade 10 students can pick up consent forms in their guidance office. If you haven't had a chance yet to go to a Windsor Express basketball game, they are a lot of fun. I think the most entertaining for me is not the actual basketball players, it's watching Darius and just following him all around the court because he does not sit down. An update on our new Lakeshore Elementary, on the new elementary school in Lakeshore. The board has entered into an agreement with Alliance General Contracting of Windsor to begin construction on the new elementary school in Lakeshore. Additional details regarding the construction timeline, as well as plans for a celebration of construction, will be brought forward in the near future, and we look forward to moving ahead with this very exciting project and welcome a new school for students and staff in the municipality of Lakeshore. And we are just waiting to hear back from the minister's office to schedule the groundbreaking or construction celebration, I think we're calling it, depending on the timing of it. I continue to do my grade 8 visits. On November the 28th, I visited 4 additional elementary schools to meet with the grade 8 classes at LaSalle, Talbot Trail, Southwood, and Bellwood. And I was honored to speak with and listen to the incredibly articulate and respectful students at each of those schools. It was interesting when I was at Bellwood, the bell already rang for them to leave for lunch. And I think Madeline would agree. They just all stayed, which as a high school teacher, I never experienced that. The bell rang and the kids were gone. They stayed. They were actually interested in listening, and then many of them even stayed even longer to ask more questions. So their questions were very thoughtful, and their hopes and fears were consistent with what we've heard across the other schools that we have visited. And I had one of those moments, where you think that people just know. And I kept talking about having to accumulate 30 credits, and some of them are compulsory and some of them are elective. And I just kept going on and on and on about it. And then partway through, I'm like, yes, what's a credit? And I'm like, oh, let's back up a second here. So this exercise has been tremendously valuable for me and for our senior team. And we now have a deeper understanding of the thought processes that our students use when they're selecting their secondary school that they're going to attend. And we'll use the information as we plan for grade 9 registrations for next year. And thank you to both of our 2 student trustees who I know have been going out and visiting grade 8s as well and bringing back that information to share with us. And we have 2 grade 8 information nights in 2026 on January the 14th at Erie Migration District School and January 15th at Essex District High School. The School Board's Cooperative Inc. Southwest Tour. So some of you may be familiar, we call them SBCI. It's on the operational side of the organization, which sometimes we don't spend enough focus and feature on. So I was pleased to welcome Sari Taha, the CEO of SBCI, along with members of his team to our office on December 1st, 2025. During their visit, they met with members of our human resources and health and safety teams, as well as the superintendent of business, Shelley Armstrong, and myself. They're partnered with Ontario school boards to support positive employee relationships and workplace experiences, including attendance support, health and safety, and workers' compensation. During the visit, the SBCI team commended the work being done by our staff and shared that our board is often cited as an example of an effective practice when they meet with other school boards across the province. And that was very rewarding to hear. Chef Adelina de Blasis accepts the 2020-25 Culinary Federation Windsor's Hospitality Award of Excellence. And so the Culinary Federation of Windsor hosted their 2025 President's Ball and Awards Gala. If you ever get a chance to go, I highly recommend it because it's the local chefs who prepare the food. And of course, they compete against each other of who's going to make the best piece of food. So it's definitely a culinary highlight. And they celebrate the excellence in local culinary and the hospitality industry. And the Hospitality Award of Excellence was presented to the Greater Essex County District School Board Community Kitchen Enhanced Cooking Program, which is led by our educator, Adelina de Blasis, at the Unemployed Help Center. Students attended the event alongside Adelina, enjoying fine dining, connecting with local chefs and industry leaders, and celebrated the achievement together. And Adelina's comment was, "My students inspire me every day. They make me laugh, they make me proud, and they remind me that learning can be a delicious, messy, and meaningful all at once." Massey's Children's Holiday Party on Saturday, December the 6th, Massey hosted its annual Children's Holiday Party. A total of 245 volunteers and 52 student executives welcomed hundreds of students from Prince Edward, Queen Victoria, Frank W. Bagley, General Brock, and Westgate Public Schools to a fun-filled event featuring crafts, cookie decorating, physical activities, and more. In advance of the event, Massey students organized a fundraiser with all proceeds dedicated to planning the celebration and purchasing a gift for every single student who attended. This is truly a heartwarming event that's made possible by an extraordinary group of students whose hard work and dedication is clearly evident in every detail of the experience. It is a long-standing tradition at Massey and something that we're very proud of. Tecumseh Family of Schools after-school event. The families from TVA, A.V. Graham, and Beacon Heights took part in a special Tecumseh Family of Schools after-school event hosted by Tecumseh Vista Secondary School. The event was a wonderful opportunity for the school communities to come together. Families had a chance to explore the secondary side of the school and begin to build connections with their future high school. Students from kindergarten to grade 8 and their families were given a passport to Discovery to explore activity stations such as art activities, gym play, musical exploration, and science experience, and much, much more. And then the ministry update for this month. The Ontario government is appointing an advisory board to review the province's approach to student assessment in response to the 2024-2025 Education Quality and Accountability Office, as we refer to as EQAO results. And then a couple of important dates coming up. The winter EQAO math opportunity for grade 9 students will take place right back from the holidays, January 7th to the 30th. And there is an elementary PA day on January the 16th. And I'd like to conclude by extending my sincerest thanks and best wishes to all of our staff, to our students, to our families, our community members, and to you, our trustees. As we enter the holiday season, we wish you a restful and a joyful break, and may the time provide opportunities to celebrate, reconnect, and recharge. I'm happy to take any questions if you have them on either report. Either one, yeah.
Do we have any questions from trustees on the monthly or the annual report? No, I just have, Trustee McCowie?
I just have a quick comment. I'll just say that it's definitely been a busy year, and thank you to Director Houston and the senior team for everything you guys have done, and to everybody in the schools, and our students too, from the Massey holiday party to, this is what I wanted to really highlight. There's a lot of great things in the director's report, but if you guys haven't already seen the mural at Bellwood, definitely go check it out, because that was, I think, 4 young students who gave up their sacred recess every day for months to draw that. So it's a beautiful mural. Go check it out if you haven't already. But thank you, Director Houston and team, for everything.
Miss it.
You really can't.
Right there when you walk in.
Beautiful
it is
mural.
So beautiful.
Trustee Buckler?
I was so excited. I was looking at Superintendent Armstrong the whole time. Really? We're going to put a shovel in the ground and wait you come on.
Well, we're
How
waiting
close?
on the
How close?
minister right now because we can't do anything out without him. We've emailed his office to find out when he's available to come, hopefully sooner rather than later. The construction company is ready and eager to go. Of course, Brad, our construction coordinator, is more than eager. I think he would have started last week if we would have said he could. So hopefully, yes, finally we're here. Yes, I'm about to email the minister myself and ask when he's coming.
So I just have a comment, maybe a question, but this Duke of Edinburgh's International Award is just amazing.
For the Globe and Mail today.
I know it's awesome, but it seemed to be like one of those little hidden nuggets that I don't think trustees realized was going on. But could you just explain a little bit more about how unique this is across Canada, and that it happens to be going on here at our board, because this is big.
So thank you for that. We are the first board in Ontario that became a partner with the Duke of Edinburgh. So the picture here is when I had the pleasure going with some of Superintendent Roberts' team to Toronto to meet with the Duke and the Education Minister and the Lieutenant Governor to receive the award. So we've already had 100 students who've received the award. There's different levels in the award that you can receive. And it's somewhat similar to a specialist high skill major, but different based on the community outreach that they need to be doing. Oftentimes, it's a really good partner with specialist high skills major and our OYAP programs. And then this year, I'll share in another report where we've expanded into other areas as well. And it's a designation that students get when they achieve either the bronze, silver, or gold. For the points within Award Canada. So it's wonderful. There's other boards that have adopted it. Peel is one of them. Thames Valley just reached out last week to ask about how we onboarded with it, and then they're interested in looking at it as well. So hopefully it'll gain momentum across the province. But today we're featured in the Globe and Mail about the great work for this award. So hopefully it makes it into TJ Gertz tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to everyone that's involved in this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for those reports. And next is the staff report on the EQAO results. Superintendent Robert.
While Madeline's setting that up for us. Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce teacher consultant responsible for assessment and evaluation. Dr. Cara Delicata will be presenting our achievement results on the 2024-25 EQAO data. And we'll have that set up momentarily.
So while they're doing that, I'll just add you have I think, an extraordinarily fulsome report in your package related to EQAO that's very detailed. And then in addition, we just wanted to provide some highlights in the presentation.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here. So I am here to present the EQAO results and some highlights from the 2024-2025 school year. So I know that you were given the board report with much more specific detail, and I just wanted to start first with saying overall the achievement results from last school year were very positive. We actually increased our scores on every assessment except 2 where we remained the same from the year before, and that was in primary writing and in junior math. So overall, I think that's something really positive to be celebrating. And for the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to focus on 3 main areas, and that is the trend data for each assessment, the cohort data, which is really tracking student achievement. It's the same group of students from grade 3 to grade 6, and then from grade 6 to grade 9. So this was the first time since the 2021 assessment where it was changed over to be a digital assessment from paper and pencil that we can now track the cohort. And then I'm going to talk about some pertinent dot score information, and we'll get to that a little bit at the end. Okay. So to start with the trend data in primary reading, again, very positive compared to last year. So we went up 3% from the 2023-2024 school year. We're really on par. We're about 1% below the province in the overall provincial results. And as you can see, we're really on the upward trend from the start of the digital assessment from the 2021-2022 school year for primary reading. So we're at 73%. The province is at 74% of achieving at or above the provincial standard. So it's really important to say what the provincial standard is. When we talk about primary and junior, the provincial standard is a level 3, which correlates to a B letter grade. So these are students, 73% for our board, that are achieving at or above that provincial standard. So a level 3 or a level 4 on that assessment, on any of these assessments. And then when we move to primary writing, again, we are the same in primary writing as last year at 64% at or above the provincial standard. Only again 1% below the province in overall results. So pretty on par, but also when you look back from the 2021-2022 school year, on the upward trend there as well, which is also nice to see. And then when we talk about math, primary math, we're at a 62% at or above the provincial standard, and the province is at 64% last year at or above the provincial standard. We are up as a board 3% from the year before. In junior reading, we're at an 86% at or above provincial standard, which is again on par, the same as the province, and up 5% from the year before. And really on an upward trend there as well. So from the 2021-2022 school year, we are steadily increasing in junior reading. In junior writing, again, we're also on par with the province at 85% at or above provincial standard, and we are up 6% as well from last year. And then lastly, at junior math, we are the same as the province there as well, which is 51% at or above provincial standard, and we are the same as we did last year as well, which is also 51%. Okay. And if you look at grade 9 mathematics, so in 2021, it's also important to note that that's when the the grade 9 course became de-streamed. So we no longer have academic or applied. It's one stream, one course in grade 9. And that's the year that it came out with the digital assessment. So our board, again, very positive compared to last year. We're up 6%. So 57% of our grade 9 students achieved provincial standard. And in grade 9, it doesn't correlate to a letter grade. So the provincial standard is a level 3, but it's also, it means 70% because they convert it to a percentage. Okay. And again, compared to the province, very close. We're only 1% below the overall provincial results in grade 9 math. And lastly, on the OSSLT, so the trend data results presented here are for first-time eligible students. So what that means is any student that is achieving Ontario Secondary School Diploma and who is in grade 10 Now in OSSLT, on the OSSLT, the literacy test, they look at those who are successful. They don't really use the language of provincial standard. And what successful means on the OSSLT is on a scale of 300 out of 400. So any students who achieved over a 300 on that OSSLT are considered successful, and they've passed that test. So for us as a board last year, 81% of our students were successful. That is about 4% below the province, but we are up 1% from the year before in terms of achieving, or in terms of that success rate. Now, I think it's really important to talk about the cohort data. I'm really glad that now we have cohort data. It would have been really hard to compare a previous pencil and paper test to a digital test, and that's why we had to wait 4 years to get this cohort data. So this means that we're tracking the same group of students from grade 3 to grade 6. So what they looked at is, right now it's the reading, so where the cohort is in terms of maintaining the standard. So that means about 67% of our students maintained the standard, so they met the standard in grade 3 and they also met it in grade 6. The rose to standard, I think, is a great, that's amazing to me that 19% of our students rose to standard, which means they did not meet the standard in grade 3, but they did meet it in grade 6. It dropped from standard. We only just under 4% of students dropped from standard. So that means that they did meet it in grade 3, but they did not meet it in grade 6. And lastly, those who never met the standard, so in both grade 3 and grade 6, they did not meet the standard. For reading was about 10% for the students in our board, so about 1,933 students in that cohort. Okay, when we look at writing, just under 57% of our students maintained standard, but 29% of students rose to standard. Again, I think an incredible number, and just under 3% dropped from standard, and just under 12% never met the standard. And then in math, grade 3 to grade 6, just about 43% maintained standard. We had about 10% that rose to standard, just under 13% dropped from standard, and the never met standard is about 35%. And I know that looks like a large number. We are actually, again, on par with the province. If you look at the provincial cohort from grade 3 to grade 6, they are at a 34% for math that never met the standard. So again, we are pretty on par with them for that as well. Okay. Now when we look at tracking student achievement from grade 6 to grade 9, 42% maintained standard. 19% again rose to standard. So didn't meet it in grade 6, they did meet it in grade 9. About 6% dropped, and 33% never met, but it's again on par with the province. The province actually had 34% of students in that grade 6 to grade 9 cohort that never met the standard. And this is something that I think is really important to highlight, and that is the DOT score information. What DOT scores are is when students get the individual student report that gets sent home to them after they've written the test, they might see, I got a level 3 on math, a level 2 in writing, a level 2 in reading. What the DOT score information tells us is where exactly in that level the student falls. So it's much more specific. So is it a student actually is a 2.1, so they're closer to that level 2, or are they actually at a 2.9, which is much closer to that provincial standard of level 3? And this, to me, these numbers are massively encouraging, because if you look at primary and the number of students and been converted to a percentage there, the percentage of students we had on last year's assessment at a 2.9. In reading, about 9% of our students were at a 2.9 DOT score. 11% of our students in writing were at a 2.9 DOT score. 7% of our math in primary, again at a 2.9 DOT score. And if you look at the number of students that impacts, that's huge. Junior in reading, about 7% of our students at a 2.9 DOT score, 4% in writing and a 2.9, and 10% of our students rating the junior math were at a 2.9 dot score. So that really is an important number to consider and to think about. While we may be at, for example, 51% at or above provincial standard for junior math, we actually have 10% of our students that are 0.01% away from achieving that provincial standard. So that's, I think, something important to highlight. The next part of that is looking at the grade 9 math dot scores and the provincial standard. So that, again, is anywhere over a 3.0 or a 70%. And we have about 10% of our students in grade 9 math, that's 220 students, that had a 2.9 dot score on that grade 9 math assessment. So that really makes the case for small group instruction. We're doing very positive things in literacy and math and small group instruction, and we are 0.01% away from bumping that particular group of students up to a provincial standard, which significantly could impact our overall results. I think that's kind of it for me. So I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Thank you for the report. Trustees' questions, Trustee McCowie, and then Trustee Burgess.
Thank you for the report. I think the results are great. So kudos to all of our students. Just a question for clarification. Could you just clarify what a cohort actually is? So like, are we only tracking a student that, like if I'm in grade 3 and I wrote EQAO math, but then I moved and I'm no longer even in our board, are they part of the cohort for the grade 6, or is it only the people who wrote in both?
So through you, Madam Chair. Okay, so what that means is students in our board who wrote in our board in grade 3 and then wrote again in our board in grade 6, we track that cohort of students. Yeah, so it's the same students. Yeah. Okay.
Supplementary note, different question? Okay. Trustee Burgess?
Thanks, Madam Chair. So through you, I noticed that in the report, I wasn't able to go to the learning equity and well-being, and I don't know if you presented there, and I would have asked the question there. But I only see the effects of COVID and the pandemic and the years, because in March 2020, anybody who would have been in any other testing prior to that would have had a totally different test, let alone it being digital. And then before the next EQAO actually happened, it would have been in isolation on a device, not in person, in and out of the longest lockdown of any board in all of Canada. So all things aren't equal. So the recouping of when we finally got face-to-face, and that was after, a couple of years, has been remarkable. And the only place I see it mentioned is, as far as the context, is on page 26. But grade 3, in being tested in 2022?
2021, 2022.
2021. What time of the year?
So that would have been in 2022 at the end of the school year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have had their early reading, writing, mathematics, etc., in a totally different environment, so that when you're going to grade 6 or 6 to 9, any of those formative things that you're really learning and grasping in that first little year, it's like a remarkable thing. I just want to put that in context, because I only see it remarked on it with the OSSLT, which of course would have been like, you've been in school for how many years now? 12 years, grade 10, grade 9 math, the same thing. You have accumulation. So you've had all that guidance, etc. And you would have had a disadvantage, but not the same as the others. So I just want to add that to the thing. It's not shown in your report, but it's a remarkable bunch of resilience and hard work from staff. And targeted. So thank you.
Yeah, and I through you, Madam Chair, sorry. I think it really speaks to the work that we're doing in this board. I think the work that we're doing with priority schools in 3 and 6 math, the PD that's been done just on EQAO alone, on the resources that teachers can use, the new to grade 3 and 6 PD, the science of reading and the UFly and the Acadian stuff. There's really good things happening here that are really important that make a significant impact. And the teachers that are working really hard to make those things happen is why you see remarkable results happening in those areas, particularly for the primary group who haven't been in school for a long time and had the impact of COVID. So I think that's important to highlight. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Trustee Chin for the first time.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for your report. It's very clear, yeah, and high quality report. Yeah. My question is that on page 30, and you mentioned 100% of grade 3 and grade 6 educators in priority classrooms received a full day of learning in November and February, which focus on strategies and implementation of the Math Achievement Action Plan, which directly aligns with supporting EQAO. And I'm curious, how do you choose the priority classrooms? And for me, I have a concern that you didn't do that for all the classrooms. Well, you just choose some priority classroom, and how you choose that, and how you do the training.
Through you, Madam Chair. The priority schools are selected through the Ministry of Education. So in year 1 of 2023-24, we were given a list of schools, which was reflected from the EQAO data from the year prior. And then each additional year, 24-25, they made some adjustments to those schools that were selected, and the schools remain the same for 25-26. So we don't choose the schools on the list. We're actually told which schools to be working with, as well as what grades to be working with, whether it's grade 3 and 6 at those schools, or particularly just grade 6 or just grade 3s.
Compliment? Yes, supplemental.
Is it along the same question?
Yeah. And yeah, so basically you say that is the provincial level, they choose which classroom has priority,
Yes,
right?
they provide the list to us. The ministry does. They make the list of the priority schools.
So
can I just clarify before you go further? Yeah. So it's not the classroom, it's the school and the grade. So either grade 3, grade 6, and the school. It's not they say this classroom. It's the grade 3s at that school, the grade 6s at that school, or the 3s and 6s at that school. And there's priority schools in secondary too. And the ministry determines who they are based on the EQAO results. So we cannot veer from that, because we have to report to the ministry specifically on those schools that are priority schools.
Sorry, on that, we just, one of the committees just received a report. Was that learning? Yeah, the learning, equity, and well-being. There was a report that explained all the priority schools. You would have got that last, it's in this doc. Okay. Yes, I remember we were talking about it. So you have the report from that committee where that is all explained in detail.
I'm sorry, I didn't find that.
Okay.
It's page 44 to page 47.
It's the committee report, learning, equity, and well-being.
But it's just mentioned that, but didn't give detail how they choose this.
It's in that report.
I read it through, I didn't see that.
Even if you didn't see it in the report, I just said that the ministry selects the schools based on their EQAO results, and they determine whether it's grade 3 and grade 6, or just grade 3 or just grade 6. It's the ministry who determines that, not us.
Okay. Have you found, is there any difference before and after this kind of training? And do you have any data to compare?
Again, that's all in the report.
Where in the report?
Page 44 to page 47. It's very clear about the changes in the priority schools.
I'm sorry, I read it through. It's just mentioned, as you said, it's nothing more, in detail. What's the report?
Okay, so we'll be happy to resend you the report.
Okay.
That the committee received, and then if you have any questions, you're welcome to follow up.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Lovell?
I just wanted to say that, well, I've been out of the trustee role for a term and a half, and I just wanted to say that when I read your report, first of all, I was very impressed, and I thought you did a great job presenting it. But I also wanted to say I was really encouraged by those results, and especially the new DOT scores, being something so new. I found that extremely interesting and very, very encouraging. So high kudos to our teaching staff and our students who work so hard. Yeah. So thank you to everyone involved. I'm impressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee McCoway. Did you have a second question?
I did, but I don't know if anyone's gonna have an answer. So, no, I didn't mean that in a rude way. I just don't know if this is something that we track. So like EQAO, OSSLT, unlike EQAO, is a graduation requirement. So, for the students that aren't passing, do we know what the impact has been on graduation rates at all? I know it's not a law, and I know they can write it a second time, but I think there's also alternatives to OSLT to supplement that requirement for the graduation. Yeah.
So through you, Madam Chair, there is other options other than the test itself. There's a course, it's the literacy course that can be taken for students who aren't successful. The way it's administered now as well, because it's not the one time, like when you were likely in school, it's changed. So there's an administration in the fall. Student has an opportunity to write, and then they can also write again. So they know if they've been successful or not. They could write again in the second semester administration. If they're not successful then they could take the course. They could do the first and then take the course. They don't have to write it a second time. And we do have a data warehouse that we could actually look at that data. We look at data all the time around students who were not successful, how many took the course. But by grade 12, that is one of the student success tracking mechanisms, is did they have the OSSLT requirement? Are they on track? If not, we would recommend summer school. We would recommend night school. We would recommend the OLC course in grade 12 for them to make sure that that's captured so they're not graduating without it. At that and their 40 hours are the things that we monitor all the time.
Are there any other questions, Trustee Chin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And on page 27, the mathematics, I think over the province, and mathematics is a very significant issue. And over here on this page, it said 35% never met the standard either in grade 3 or grade 6. And 33% never met the standard either in grade 6 or grade 9. So I am wondering, those kids, since they already failed from earlier years, and is there any method that we use to help them to pass the examination after several years, or we just keep them going this way, to be failed?
So through you, Madam Chair, I think it's important to not look at the 3 and the 6 as failing or as passing. It's really what percentage has achieved the provincial standard, which is a level 3 or a letter grade of B in 3 or 6. And really, if you look at they never met standard, so that 35% that never met standard, yes, for sure there's work to be done in mathematics, but we are again on par with where we are provincially in terms of achievement of the provincial standard. So that's really, I do agree that there's work that needs to be done there, but if we're looking at the overall results there, we are on par with the province for that.
And I'd just like to add a reminder that EQAO is one source of data.
Yeah.
That is only one piece of data. And I know some people hang their hat on it's the be all end all. As a teacher myself, I would not hang my hat on one piece of data of what's needed for student achievement to improve. There's also formative assessments that happen in the classroom, summative evaluations that happen in classrooms, report card marks. So you need a whole picture of data, not one provincial standardized test. So teachers do that every day of what are students' areas of strength, what are students' areas of need, and then they put interventions and strategies in place to support that student to move forward at incremental levels to prepare them for an understanding of the curriculum for that grade level. That's what we do every single day as an educator.
Thank you, Director Houston. I was just going to jump in and say that, but I wouldn't have done as good job of explaining it as you did. But, we have to keep that in mind. This is just one piece. It's useful and it's informative, but it's not the be all and the end all. Anyway, do we have any questions? Trustee Burgess?
Totally different, and I don't mean it to couch it in terms of politics, but there is now going to be an advisory group or an appointment of something to look at EQAO again. I mean, we just had a big shift in 21. So I'm wondering, have we had any news as who is in that consultation of how we're going to set the criteria of how we're going to review anything? Because I'm sure that having gone through a few years now, we would have some, advice to go through OPSPA or individually or through your professional organizations on what we'd like to see to tweak in the EQAO.
So through you, Madam Chair, years ago, there was an advisory board made up of, so an example, when I was part of OPSOA, I was one of the superintendents who was on the EQAO advisory board, where all of those things would be taken into consideration for input and consultation. We've received nothing from the ministry about the new office other than what was shared in the media, that everybody else has the same information. So we're still waiting to hear what that might look like and who's involved and who is going to be able to give it an opportunity for consultation. We don't know anything yet.
Are there any more questions on the report? Trustee Chin, this will be your last question.
Oh, okay, thank you. My question is that we have a tutoring program. I wonder how is it going? Do we have any summary about that?
How Chin, on the report. Your question has to be on the report.
That's regarding the EQAO math performance. Yeah.
I'm not sure what the question is. Right. So we need to have a question about the EQAO report. If you have a question about tutoring, you could maybe send your question into the director's office.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
This could be mind-boggling trying to go through all this. So thank you for the report.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Moving on to N1 is the school year calendar. Could I have someone move this? Trustee Cook, Trustee McCowie, all those in support, or are there questions about the trustee calendar? All those in support? Any opposed? There's your school year calendar for 2026-27. N2 is the addition. You have the report on your desk. These are filling the vacancies left by the former trustees with the new trustees. I have someone who will move this. Trustee Cook, Trustee Buckler. Any questions on this? This was done in consultation with the new trustees during orientation. Okay. All those in support? Any opposed? I think that carries. Okay, moving on to reports from board committees. There's first our standing committees. There's no report from policy and bylaw this month, but I will just mention, if you haven't got the calendar invite yet, but there's the workshop coming up on January 6th, as the trustees voted on from the recommendation from the policy committee. So that's going to be the evening of January 6th. Finance and Facility Services Committee has enclosed a report from their meeting. Are there any questions from that report? Trustee Burgess?
Thank you, Madam Chair. On page 38 is the trustee expenditure report, and I just want to say that this report, as far as the lines on mine, will be amended because not all of the expenses have been corrected, and the business department is aware of that. So at the next meeting or whatever, if there is an amendment, I can adjust that.
I was there when this was presented. I believe the numbers are correct, and there was some...
Just for a point of clarification, I think Trustee Burgess is referring to, and I think Superintendent Armstrong can chime in, at the Finance and Facility Services Committee meeting, your miscellaneous expenditures were reported differently, but I think it's been corrected in this package. Yeah. So this is the right number, but if you check our finance meeting from last week, that number was wrong. But this is fixed.
Yeah. Correct. Mm-hmm. I believe that's correct. Are there any questions from the report? Where am I here? No? Okay. Learning, Equity, and Wellbeing Committee meeting of December 2nd. Do we have questions from that meeting? I think I have one. So. Oh. Does anyone else have a question? No? Okay. We're learning, equity. Okay, I have a question. From the staff reports part of that meeting, page 46, one of the points that was made is that the board is engaging with faculties of education to align teacher preparation with current classroom realities. We hear that often, that our board is talking with the faculty of education. I just wonder how successful that is. And like, do we feel that that the program is preparing teachers better for the realities? I've been here a long time, and this isn't the first time I've seen this.
Through you, Madam Chair. That's a loaded question. That's okay. So remind, right, we take from different faculties. We're fortunate enough to have a faculty of our own right within our own community. Grateful that many of our own educators also teach at the faculty, so they're well aware of the resources that we use, the strategies we use, and they bring those into the classroom. I can say, and I think I can speak on behalf of the senior team, you go to the faculty for 1 year or 2 years, depending on what the program is, and then you enter into a classroom. There will always be room for improvement. I continue to say I apologize to the students that I taught in my first years of teaching, because I was not a great teacher, but you get better. So we do have ongoing, we meet with the faculty probably more than ever, I would say recently. They're also in a flux, right? Are they going to be a 1 year or 2 year program? Because the ministry keeps talking about that. So they're trying to adjust. Their practicum placements are longer. being a chef who did an apprenticeship. I think that that's where the real learning happens when you're in the classroom. So we do our best. Our new teacher induction program, I think, is exceptional in terms of helping to prepare them as well. The associate teachers that they have, there's been a change from the faculty this year. The associate teachers were not always advisors, not associates. We're not always going directly into the schools. So now they do. The faculty has made a requirement that they must be in school for them to do their visits with them, no longer online and no longer off-site. It must be physically at the school. So obviously there's always room for improvement, but I would say that we're having more discussions now than we've ever had in the past with them. And the dean there is exceptional and very open to any suggestions or input, just the same as us. They invite our staff in all of the time to provide workshops or learning for the teacher candidates as well. So, as I said, we're really lucky to have one in our own community.
Thank you for that. Anyone else have any questions from that committee? Not, I'm going to move on to our statutory committees. There was no meeting of audit. There was a meeting of our SEAC committee November 12th, and you have the minutes. Are there any questions from that meeting? Anybody? Oh, I have a couple. No one else does. Page 49 of the report of the minutes. I was interested in the Breaking Barriers grant that was approved for the school year. It's a great description of what the grant covers, but I didn't find the amount of the grant, and I just wondered how many dollars were involved there.
Through you, Madam Chair, I'd be happy to share that amount. First, I want to thank our ed coordinators, our supervisor behavior services, and also some of our psych staff for writing the grants that were successful. We applied for 9 grants this year. We were successful in 8 of them. The amount was just over $800,000 that we received, so $811,000. We're also extremely proud of that number because the pot for the entire province was just around $6 million, which means we took about 13 to 15% of that entire pot. So we were very, very happy with the results from those grants.
That's awesome. So I was impressed, even not knowing the number, but then I also had the flip side of it and wondered, what would we do if we didn't have that grant? And that part is scary. So I'm just very thankful that the grant was successful, and keep it up. I have another question if I can find it. Oh yeah. I was interested in knowing more about social, emotional, and caring adult connections. I don't think I'm familiar with that, and I wondered if you could explain that a little bit more. Page 50 towards the bottom.
So one of the things last year when we were looking at the restructuring for students that were formerly in RISE was the social emotional piece. So in consultation with our parents, their biggest concern was the mental well-being of their children. So part of that process is working with Superintendent Joe Bell's office. And so over the course of the beginning of this year, we've sent out monthly themes. Superintendent Bell's office has sent out monthly themes, which develop things like healthy relationships in the classroom, caring environments. It also goes along the last couple of years. We've had caring adults in the classroom, so all principals and school staff have had students identify who the caring adult was or is in their building. And if there were students that couldn't identify, they've talked about the steps they'll take to ensure that there's a caring adult for every one of our students.
That's awesome. I wasn't quite sure that they were adults from their school building. So thank you for explaining that. And that to me sounds so important, that a student should have a caring adult that they can relate to. So that's great. Thank you. Those were my questions. Trustee McCowie?
Thank you, through you, Madam Chair. I didn't originally have a question, but now I do. On page 50, it says teachers have engaged in professional learning and integrated innovative tools, including AI. I'm just curious if administration's developed like a policy for responsible use of AI.
So through you, Madam Chair, we've been doing a lot of work in AI, learning along with everybody else, which sometimes isn't good to be learning at the same time as the students because they're learning quicker than we are, but that's okay. Everything that we've participated in, a few of us had an opportunity to go to an AI symposium, and then others have done other work in that area too, is to not create a policy around AI because tomorrow that policy will be out of date and you'll need to write another one. So we do have AI guidelines that falls under Superintendent Alwinder's portfolio. So we have created a large document, but then we've went into one-page wonders, we call them. So there's an AI one for teachers. There's an AI one, for example, for the business department, one for the human resources department. So we're really looking at what does it look like to use it us as a senior team? What does it look like to use it as a classroom teacher? What does it look like to use it if you're in accounts payable? So done a lot of work, but not nearly enough because it's just so fast all the time. Just had a meeting last week with the company that we use for our data warehouse, and they're integrating AI in terms of their report. So looking for feedback on taking all your student achievement data, asking AI what themes and patterns so that we don't have to spend the time doing that work. We can actually spend the time doing the work that's needed for the students based on the themes that's identified. It's fascinating and it's scary at the same time.
Thank you very much. The next committee is GECPEC, our Parent Involvement Committee. Do we have any questions from that report? Trustee Burgess.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I asked this, but I just want to know because our GECPIC doesn't meet every month like they used to, et cetera, and we have had some good attendance recently. But I'm wondering, will our board or student senate maybe, or our PIC have any advice to give us at the board for our plan that we're going to submit for the student and parent student and family support office?
The director.
Through you, Madam Chair. So when we get direction from the ministry around what that should look like, if there's even supposed to be consultation, as you're aware from the memo that came, the boards that are currently under supervision on January 1st will be working with the minister. What I understand through code is that those boards will be setting the templates of what that office is going to look like. They're going to figure out the muddiness of it, and then that will be implemented to the boards that are not under supervision by September 2026. So I'm not sure that there is room for input. If there is, we would consult just like we would do with anything else, but we have not heard as of yet that there's going to be consultation or input being provided for that.
So supplemental to that, I understand that. So we're taking our guidance from boards that are under supervision that don't have trustees and any governance over it, who are very interested in how that's being done. So it's being done by administration, but we don't have any kind of clue whether or not there's actual for the student and family support office, whether students and family are advising. So if that's the template, and if there isn't consultation and there isn't any governance of those supervised boards that are providing the template and advising the minister and putting it into implementation in January, I just want to kind of go on record saying that it really is important, whether they said it or not, that students and families somehow have a voice in it. So I'm hoping, since we have a Senate and since we have a provincially mandated parent involvement committee who is parent majority, that they at least maybe share their opinions. Whether it gets used or not, they should have some kind of voice. So I would encourage them to look at that and let us know.
So through you, Madam Chair, I just want to clarify, you said administration without trustees is developing it. My understanding it's the supervisor who is not administration. So I want to make that publicly clear before people think that school boards that are under supervision, that administration is doing that, because that's not the case from what I understand. I also worry when we ask people for input when we can do nothing with it. Are we setting it up like we're interested in hearing their voice to then say thank you so much for sharing it, but no thank you because we've been directed otherwise? I think it's still too new, but I absolutely, and I think anybody on the senior team would say the importance of student voice is critical for us, especially because they're going to be the ones impacted by this the most. And if there is an opportunity, absolutely, but I worry about setting it up that they're getting to give input to not be listened to. I worry.
To be clear, I thank you for that. I wasn't saying to set it up. What I'm saying is, and thank you for correcting the supervisor thing, because there are boards who don't have a director of education either that are also setting this up. In the absence of that, I think that's a loss of input. And so what I'm saying is, since they're in the title, I think it would be great to hear whether we use it or not. For example, I heard last night that one of the big things that we really hear from is about transportation. If we asked our parents, what are the things you're most concerned about? I'm not sure that the folks on the parent involvement committee would necessarily say transportation, but I bet families would.
Sorry, Trustee Burgess.
So I just made my point. I made my point.
I
made my point on the parent involvement committee.
Yep, but we're talking
having
about
access.
We're talking about their
the
minutes.
report is absent,
Their minutes.
and they're not going to be meeting before that. So my point is, before the next meeting, if that could be somehow on the radar, I would appreciate it. That's all. Thank you.
And if I can just add, sorry, through you, Madam Chair, I can't let it go. You also have an OPSPA director, which I think is an avenue if you're concerned about trustees having input into what that looks like going forward in terms of consultation. So I would direct that to Trustee McCowie.
Okay. Item 03, we don't have any advisory committees right now. 04, we don't have any ad hoc trustee committees right now, but we do have an OPSPA director. Might have a report for us.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. I did send all trustees a very robust update of our Board of Directors meeting on November 24th, so check your emails, but the three things I'll quickly highlight. PES, the Public Education Symposium, is happening January 23rd and 24th in Toronto. If anyone wants to attend, registration is open at your own cost. I would highly recommend that everybody checks out the Democracy is Not Outdated campaign. It's a campaign focused on opposition to Bill 33 and the importance of local democracy. And then the last thing is we have a special meeting of the membership on Thursday this week to vote on the proposed amendments to OPSPA's governing documents, which includes a governance refresh that takes our 54-person board of directors and makes it 11 to 13, which I think will definitely help speed things up and speak to the efficiencies. And it really strengthens regional council because it provides those as an opportunity, as an avenue to share concerns and whatnot. And again, this was in response to the boards under supervision no longer paying fees. So that will be on Thursday, and I will send you guys all a follow-up email afterwards with how that goes. But on behalf of Greater Essex, I do intend to support it. And I did send an email to all trustees about 2 weeks ago asking for any feedback or input. So I'm still open to it, but I did send that out looking for anyone's input on that.
Trustee Level?
I would just ask, Madam Chair, through you, if it would be possible to receive a copy of that report, retroactively, of course. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. Thank you for going through it. I've gone back and forth on this. I'm today not really loving the new refresh. I know what's motivating it. I understand why we need to do it. But as far as some language in there saying that the concerns of each individual board, because we may never be on the executive in order to make submissions, etc., even through our standing work groups, things may be brought forward to the executive. And that's not an absolute. So I think there's a possibility for a lost vote, a lost voice from individual trustees, and especially boards, especially in emerging issues, etc. I also think that when we have an executive that has members that may be on boards that are under supervision, that they may not have the widest look at something that's in our region. So I just want to put a caveat on there. So I hope the discussion, I did go to the information meeting that OPSPA gave as alternate, so I wanted to be prepared, but I hope the discussion is robust as well as the report that was given, because I think there are things that I would like to see amended somewhat. Still say the savings would be there, but there could be a shift to just keep status quo as it is, keep everything virtual, have all the fiscal savings, and do it at an annual meeting where every board gets a vote and can suggest amendments. Right now, I think it's almost a fait accompli.
Trustee Chin, you have a question?
Oh, yes. My question is a little bit same. And I wonder, we don't have funding for the conference. I wonder if we can join virtually, not the whole conference, maybe the main training that we can, join virtually or see the video and just for training.
So that was brought up at our board of directors meeting, and unfortunately, the PES planning is too far gone to facilitate a virtual option, but they are looking at doing that for future years. So PES 27, maybe. PES 26, no.
And I think there's many boards that are struggling with their budgets and not being able to afford to send trustees. We're not the only one. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the report. We don't have anything under Q or R. Announcements. Do any trustees have an announcement for this meeting? Trustee.
Yes, I'd just like to announce I'll be visiting Central Public School tomorrow, as they will be receiving the Cereal Box Challenge Trophy. I believe Madeline will be accompanying me. They brought in over 1,300 grams of cereal per student average for their whole school. So that I'm getting excited about that. So thank you. And thank you for everyone in the community that is a part of that Cereal Box Challenge. We can't do it without everybody else's support.
You and Trustee Burgess, you have an announcement?
I do, Madam Chair, and because I don't think I'm not sure that I'll ever attend another OPSPA event. I just don't know. Things, as you gave in your chair's report, are tentative, etc. So I wanted to share a little humble brag, because I don't think I'll be able to ever share it at an OPSPA event. And that today, just by a couple of days, marks the completion of 25 years of service for me as a public elected trustee. And it's been an honor, and I'll have an opportunity to share that with my colleagues that also get the little, 25 dinosaur, they don't call it a dinosaur anymore, but, thing. So it has been an honor. That's all I want to say. Thanks.
Congratulations. Do they still hand out? I don't know. Well, don't feel bad. I never got anything, so. I didn't get anything. No. Anyway, well, thank you for that. I guess we're both now dinosaurs, right? And are there any other announcements? No? Okay. Seeing none, then I'm going to wish everybody the very best of the holiday season. Stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you in the new year. Good night, everybody. Thank you for your time.